Somewhere in the African night, something is watching you. It doesn't growl, it doesn't charge, it doesn't announce itself. It simply appears. One moment, the grass is empty. The next, there are claws in your throat. And by the time you hear the sound, it's already over. This is not a lion. Lions want you to know they're coming. This is not a cheetah. Cheetahs rely on speed, on open ground, in broad daylight. This is something older, something quieter, something that has been perfecting the art of invisibility for over 3 million years. This is the leopard. Panthera pardus, the leopard. Of the 5 great cats that still walk this earth, the lion, tiger, jaguar, snow leopard, and leopard, only one has managed to survive on every major landmass outside of the Americas and the Arctic. And only one has made a home in the rainforests of Central Africa, the mountain ranges of the Himalayas, the scorching deserts of the Arabian Peninsula, the bamboo forests of southern China, and the concrete edges of Mumbai, India, all at the same time. That animal is the leopard. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN Red List, the leopard is the most widely distributed wildcat on the planet, ranging across 35 countries in sub-Saharan Africa and across South and Southeast Asia. And yet, despite that range, despite that success, you almost never see one, because the leopard doesn't want to be seen. It has built its entire existence around a single, lethal idea. Be invisible, strike once, and never miss. Look closely at this animal. And you start to understand what 3 million years of evolutionary pressure looks like in physical form. The leopard is built like a paradox. At first glance, it seems almost casual. Not as massive as a lion, not as blazing fast as a cheetah. A large male weighs between 130 and 200 pounds. A female, considerably lighter, as little as 60 to 80 pounds in some subspecies. By the standards of the animal kingdom, this is a medium-sized predator. But that is exactly the point. The leopard's compact muscular body is the product of a single evolutionary directive. Carry more than you weigh, climb where nothing can follow you, and survive in places where nothing else can. Those forelimbs? Disproportionately powerful for the animal's frame. According to research published in the Journal of Zoology, a leopard can haul a carcass weighing up to 3 times its own body weight, straight up the vertical trunk of a tree. That is the equivalent of a 150-pound person carrying a full-grown black bear up a ladder, without stopping. That coat, those rosettes, those beautiful hypnotic clusters of spots arranged in broken rings, is not decoration. It is disruption camouflage, a pattern that breaks the cat's outline against dappled light, against tall grass, against the shadows of branches. National Geographic has documented cases where researchers tracking leopards lost visual contact with an animal at less than 20 feet. 20 feet. About the length of a school bus. The leopard doesn't just hide in the shadows. The leopard is the shadow. Here is where the legend earns its name. The leopard is, pound for pound, the most versatile hunter of any large cat on Earth. While lions primarily take large prey on open ground and rely on cooperative hunting, and while cheetahs are essentially sprinting specialists, the leopard hunts everything. From tiny dung beetles to 1,200-pound eland, from fish pulled out of shallow rivers to baboons snatched directly from treetops. The African Wildlife Foundation documents over 90 different prey species on the leopard's recorded menu. 90 species. The leopard is not a specialist. It is the ultimate opportunist, and it is brilliant at it. The hunt itself is an exercise in patience that borders on the meditative. A stalking leopard will close the distance to its prey over the course of 45 minutes to an hour, moving inches at a time, freezing mid-step when the target looks up, controlling its own breathing, using every contour of the land as cover. Researchers studying leopard hunting behavior in South Africa's Sabi Sand Game Reserve noted that some individuals will stalk a target for over a mile before initiating the final charge. And that charge? It is not about speed. The cheetah reaches 70 miles per hour. The leopard tops out around 36 miles per hour. But the leopard almost never needs to go far. By the time it moves, the gap is already closed. The final rush is rarely more than 15 to 20 feet. The killing bite goes directly to the throat. A suffocation hold held until the prey stops moving, which can take anywhere from 30 seconds to 5 minutes, depending on the size of the animal. The leopard doesn't let go. It simply waits. And then comes the most jaw-dropping part of the leopard's hunting ritual. One that separates it from every other large cat on the planet. It picks up its kill, and it climbs. In the African savanna, nothing you kill is safe. Unless you can put it somewhere no one else can reach. Lions, hyenas, wild dogs, jackals, vultures. The savanna is full of thieves, and every one of them will challenge a leopard on the ground. Lions, in particular, will routinely steal kills from leopards, and a 400-pound male lion is not a creature most leopards choose to argue with. So the leopard solved the problem the only way it could. It moved dinner upstairs. That hoisting behavior isn't just impressive athleticism, it is a survival strategy. Kills cached in trees can be fed on over 2 to 3 days without competition. According to a 2016 study in PLOS 1 by researchers tracking leopards in the Greater Kruger ecosystem, leopards that successfully hoisted their prey were significantly more likely to retain that food resource compared to those that left kills on the ground. The tree is not a habit, it is a refrigerator with a security system. And the leopard has another advantage up there: silence. The leopard is one of the few large cats that can descend a tree head first, gripping with retractable claws that function almost like grappling hooks. This gives the animal full 3-dimensional mobility. It can escape a threat by going up just as easily as it can by going sideways through brush. In the tree, the leopard is, for all practical purposes, untouchable. The leopard is, by choice and by design, almost entirely alone. And unlike lions, which live in complex social groups called prides, or cheetahs, which occasionally form male coalitions, the adult leopard is a solitary animal. It marks a territory using scent glands, urine sprays, and tree scratch markings, and it defends that territory with fierce consistency. Male territories in the Serengeti can span 30 to 60 square miles. In regions with lower prey density, like the deserts of the Arabian Peninsula, individual home ranges can exceed 1,000 square miles. The leopard does not share that space willingly, and yet there is one context in which the leopard's solitude opens, briefly, to something warmer. The mother. A female leopard gives birth to a litter of 2 to 3 cubs, typically in a den tucked inside a rocky outcrop, a hollow log, or dense vegetation. The cubs are born blind and weighing less than 2 pounds each. And for the first few weeks of life, they are completely helpless. The mother stays close, nurses them, moves them frequently to avoid detection by predators. She raises them entirely alone. Over the next 18 to 24 months, she will teach her cubs everything: how to stalk, how to kill, how to hoist a carcass, how to read the wind. And then, as National Geographic field researchers have documented, she will begin to tolerate their presence less and less, until one day she simply does not return to the shared territory, and the cubs, now young adults, are left to establish ranges of their own. No ceremony. No goodbye. In the world of the leopard, independence is not just a skill, it is the whole point. Here is a fact that surprises most people. The leopard is not one animal. It is 9. And the IUCN currently recognizes 9 subspecies of leopard, each adapted to a radically different corner of the world. The African leopard, the one most of us picture, is the largest and most studied. The Amur leopard of the Russian Far East, adapted to brutal winters and deep snow, is perhaps the most endangered land mammal on Earth, with fewer than 100 individuals remaining in the wild as of the latest IUCN assessment. The Javan leopard, clinging to survival on the Indonesian island of Java, is critically endangered, with habitat loss squeezing its range to just a handful of protected reserves. And then there is the animal many people don't realize is a leopard at all: the black panther. That iconic creature of myth, of superhero movies, of 1,000 cultural references, is simply a leopard with a genetic mutation called melanism, a condition that causes an overproduction of dark pigment in the coat. The rosette pattern is still there. You can see it if the light catches the fur just right. But the background coloration is nearly black, giving the animal an almost supernatural appearance. Black leopards are most commonly found in the dense rainforests of Southeast Asia, particularly Malaysia, where the low-light environment makes the dark coat a genuine camouflage advantage. They are not a separate species. They are not even particularly rare in some populations. They are simply leopards, wearing a different mask, which honestly feels very on-brand. Mumbai, India, a megacity of over 20 million people, one of the densest urban environments on the planet. And inside it, embedded within the Sanjay Gandhi National Park at the city's northern edge, lives one of the highest density leopard populations in the world. According to a landmark study published in the journal Frontiers in Ecology and Evolution in 2021, researchers documented leopards navigating the edges of Mumbai at night, moving through residential neighborhoods, crossing roads, feeding on stray dogs and feral pigs. These are not displaced animals stumbling into human territory. These are leopards that have learned the city, that have mapped its rhythms, that know when the streets go quiet. The Mumbai leopards are a case study in what scientists call human-wildlife coexistence. And it is not always peaceful. Leopard attacks on humans in India are documented and real, and the pressures that push leopards into contact with human populations, habitat destruction, prey depletion, encroachment, are intensifying. But the fact that leopards are surviving in this environment at all speaks to something fundamental about this species. The leopard does not require wilderness. It requires opportunity. Where there is cover, where there is prey, where the conditions are even marginally workable, the leopard will find a way. For all its adaptability, for all its genius, the leopard is losing ground. The IUCN Red List currently classifies the leopard as vulnerable, and the trend is moving in the wrong direction. Across its range, leopard populations have declined by an estimated 30 to 40% over the past 3 generations, according to the IUCN's 2016 assessment, the most comprehensive evaluation to date. The threats are layered. What habitat loss? As forests are cleared for agriculture and grasslands converted to farmland, fragments leopard territories and isolates populations. Prey depletion, as ungulate species are overhunted by humans in many regions, forces leopards into conflict with livestock farmers, a conflict the leopard usually loses through retaliatory killing. Poaching for the illegal wildlife trade targets leopard skins, bones, and teeth, which command significant prices in black markets across Asia, and climate change is beginning to reshape the ecosystems these animals depend on in ways that are still being studied. But here is the other side of that story. Conservation programs across Africa and Asia are showing measurable results in areas where they have been given resources and time. Camera trap monitoring projects run by organizations including Panthera, the world's leading wildcat conservation organization, and the Wildlife Conservation Society, are building population data that allows for evidence-based management. Leopards in South Africa's Greater Kruger region, one of the best monitored leopard populations in the world, are showing relative stability thanks to strong anti-poaching enforcement and habitat protection. And in some regions, something unexpected is happening. Leopards are recovering. Slowly, cautiously, but recovering. The animal that mastered invisibility is, in some places, beginning to be seen again. 3 million years. That is how long the lineage of Panthera pardus has walked this earth. Through ice ages and droughts, through the rise and fall of civilizations, when through the disappearance of saber-toothed cats and woolly mammoths, and 100 other species that could not bend when the world changed around them. The leopard bent. It moved into the desert when the forest disappeared. It climbed into the mountains when the plains filled with rivals. It adapted its diet when the prey changed. It learned the layout of a 21st century city. It became the shadow in every landscape, on every continent where it was given even a sliver of a chance. What the leopard teaches us is not just about predator ecology, or camouflage, or biomechanics. What the leopard teaches us is something about survival itself, about the power of adaptability over raw strength, of patience over aggression, of reading your environment exactly as it is, rather than as you wish it to be. The leopard does not fight the world. It learns the world, and then it disappears into it. Somewhere out there tonight, in the Serengeti, in the western Ghats of India, in the Russian Far East, in a patch of scrubland on the edge of a city you know the name of, a leopard is watching something. It is not afraid. It is not in a hurry. It is simply waiting. And when the moment is right, it will move.